So welcome. I'm Mary Beth Shea, and I'm the principal of the Clarke School. And I'm pleased to welcome you all to the kindergarten informational Zoom for our kindergarten class that will be entering Clarke School in the fall of 2021. So welcome. We have quite a team of presenters here. So I'm going to give you just a brief overview of who's with us. But before we begin, if we could ask, if you're not speaking, if you could please mute yourself, that will just cut down on the background noise. And I want to thank Colleen Reed, who is helping me with facilitating the technology portion today. Colleen, do you want to give that tip that you had about how to see the gallery view for those who might not be familiar with Zoom?
Oh, sure. If you look, I'm talking about on a computer screen. I'm not 100% sure if you're on a telephone or a cell phone or iPad, but if you're on a computer, if you look in the top right corner, there's a little box that says about your view, and you can change it to having the gallery, which means you're able to see everybody, or side by side, where it's focusing more on the speaker. So you can change the visual of who you're able to see. And then Mary Beth will, or Ms. Shea will be sharing her screen. And if you need to see that, you can drag, there's a bar along the side of the visual of the different people. And so you can grab that and drag it over to see more people, or slide it to the side to see more about the shared screen.
Great. And we did have a question in the chat. Somebody was asking if this presentation is for the students. And the answer is no, it's really geared more for the adults, but you are welcome to show it to your children if you would like. But today we'll be gearing it for the audience of incoming kindergarten parents. So just a little overview of what we have planned for today. We will be inviting our host of Clarke employees to present, starting with our nurse, Ann Hudson. She's going to talk a little bit about health and safety and give you an overview of what services she provides at Clarke. And then we have our guidance counselor, Kathy Kelpin, and Kathy will talk about her role as a guidance counselor, and she'll also talk a little bit about the kindergarten screening, which will be taking place the first 3 days of next year. That's when we'll have an opportunity for your child to come in and to meet your child. So she'll explain more about that process in a minute. We also have both of our kindergarten teachers with us today. Ms. Morgan will give you a little overview of things you can do to help prepare your child for kindergarten. And Ms. Wheeler will present on what a typical day in kindergarten will look like. And we're also very fortunate that 2 of our math and literacy specialists are joining us. So Erin Flynn, who's our math coach, and Julie Ward, who's our literacy tutor, will be presenting about their roles. And at Clarke School, 24% of our students are actually come from homes that predominantly speak a different language. So that's something that we're very proud of. We love having English language learners here. Russian and Spanish are our top languages at this time. And Gloria Salvinelli and Colleen Reed are teachers who specialize in supporting those students, and they'll explain about their role. And then we're also very fortunate that our representative from the PTO, Erin Lamb, is going to talk about how you can be involved in the PTO and the way that parents can contribute. And before we end, we'll share some other resources, the website, the Twitter, and the YouTube feed that you can get more information about Clarke. And there'll be an opportunity to ask questions. So we have quite a packed meeting. So I hope that you'll enjoy it. And as each person comes forward and present, if you could just say again what your name is for the audience, that would be great. And we do have some slides for each presenter. Oops. So, and Ann Hudson is going to present first.
Are you moving the slide, Ms. Shea?
Yes, can you see that?
I cannot. Can everybody else see it?
No, it's still in the first.
No.
Okay, let me try unsharing and then. How's that?
There we go.
All
Now we
right.
can see it.
I had to hit the resume share.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ann Hudson. I am the Clarke School nurse. And what a year we've just been through and still continue to be going through. And I'm hoping the fall may be a little less stressful. But anyway, a couple things I just wanted to go over. You were sent by Ms. Baldacci the emergency medical and health history forms. So if you could fill those out and get those back, that would be great. That just helps me to sort of get a quick bird's eye view of any health issues that your child may have. You can scan them and email them back to me. You can print it out at home, hard copy, fill it out at home, and then either mail it back to me to the address at Clarke, or we also have a mailbox. There's a picture of it right there on the slide at the front door of Clarke by the circle, that front door. And that's a locked mailbox. You can always pop anything in there, and we check that several times a day. So if you could fill those out, that would be great. And I apologize, but you're going to need to fill them out again in the fall. And actually every year you have to fill them out from now on until your children go through the Swampscott district. So as soon as you can get those filled out, that would be great. If your child takes a daily medication, something that they take every day, you will need, I cannot just give the medication. I would need an order from their pediatrician or their nurse practitioner. I also need it signed by you. The forms are on the Swampscott district website under families and then health, I think it's called health services. And then you click on forms and you can get the forms there. The other option is, and this is usually what happens, is if there is an order, the doctor actually has their own form, and you just have to get that form over the summer sometime, and just make sure it says, you know, the name of the medication, what time they need to take it, make sure it's signed by the doctor, and it also has to be signed by a parent or a guardian. And then always just send in medication with a parent, never put it in a child's backpack. Also, if your child has a medical issue, I'll be filling out a healthcare plan. Some of the more common things are like asthma or allergies, where maybe they have to take an EpiPen or use an inhaler. And so that would also need to be filled out as a daily medication, or as an as-needed medication in the case of an inhaler. I would also need a doctor's order and a signature from you. We have many children at the Clarke School that have food allergies. I think this year we have 15. Many different allergies, but we are declared as a nut-aware, peanut-aware school, meaning that you know, that's one of the major allergens and one of the more severe allergens. And these children have, these are life-threatening allergies, so we take it very seriously here. We do not allow any nut or peanut products in the school. And that includes, you know, if you look at a label, if it says it was made in a facility with peanuts or nuts, or made on the same equipment. So none of those products are allowed in school. So just make sure when you're sending in lunches or snacks that you're checking labels so we can keep our classmates and friends and some teachers safe. If your child is not feeling well, please don't forget to call them in sick. You can call into the sick line, you know, anytime. It's a confidential line. If your child is sick in the middle of the night, you feel like you're not going to wake up the next morning in time to call when school starts, you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning if you want, and just let us know that your child's going to be sick. And then, you know, we could catch up later in the day about the illness. If your child has a dentist appointment in the morning and they're going to be tardy, we also would like a phone call from you just to let us know. You know, the big thing is we want to make sure that all the children are safe at home, and that you're aware that they're not in school. So just remember to give us a call before school starts. If your child is seen by a doctor or goes to the emergency room or urgent care, your golden ticket back to school is a note. So get a note from the doctor or whatever practitioner has seen your child, just so I know that they're okay to be back in school, that whatever they were seen for is not contagious. And, you know, if they have an injury, that there's no restrictions for recess or PE. So always get a note before they return to school. And just another thing about illnesses is if your child has a fever, they have to stay out for at least 24 hours without being on any fever reducing medications. If they have a fever in the middle of the night, or if they vomit or have diarrhea, they have to stay out for 24 hours before they can return. And then also another important thing is just to remember to send them in with a snack every day, and also a bottle of water. That's real important, and especially around this time of year when it's getting really hot. But all year long, we would like to have the children have a water bottle every day. It's really important. And certainly if you have any questions, if your child has a health issue or a health concern and it's something you'd like to talk to me about before this school year ends, I would love to have you call me or email me, and we can talk about that. If something comes up over the summer, then certainly, you know, get in touch with me right before school starts. The big thing is if you can get those doctor's orders to me, if you can get them done over the summer so that on day one, you're able to send in the medication with the doctor's order, that is ideal, because otherwise I'm not able to give any medication without that order. So if you have any questions, call me or email me. Does anyone have any quick questions right now? I know we have a lot to cover today, but.
Mrs. Hudson, there was
Some
one
chat
in the
questions.
chat that came
Okay.
in asking about, are these different than the medical forms we sent to the integrated pre-K for kinder enrollment? So would you know if those would transfer over from the integrated pre-K, or is there a
So-
separate form?
No, I think it's the same form, but as I said, they need to be filled out every year because there's lots of changes within the year. And sometimes our forms change, we update them. So even if you filled one out for the integrated preschool in the last year, this would need to be filled out again. And like I said, every year, lots of paperwork at the beginning of the year needs to be filled out. Does that answer the question?
I
I
think
hope-
it might.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Ms. Hudson's email is right there. We encourage anybody who has questions, you can email. Usually the emails are the last name or the first initial and last name with the same ending, swampscott.k12.ma.us. So encourage you to send any questions you might have for her to that
Yep.
email.
Is that
And
it, Colleen, in the chat?
We have another question about the phone number for calling in absences.
So it's the main Clarke number. And I can rattle it off real quick if you want to write it down, but it's 781-596-8812 is the main number, and that goes into the secretary's line. And then you have an option to be directly connected to me if you want to leave a confidential voicemail on my voicemail. And there's also an absence line as well. That's another number that you would press after you call in. Is that it, Colleen, in the chat for health?
I think so. There was a little bit of clarification about some of those forms coming up from preschool, but it sounds like it's been answered.
Okay, and certainly call me or send me an email. I check my email several times a day. So, and if your child is going to be sick and you send in an email, we prefer you to call, but if you send in an email, sometimes they're sent to the teachers, and we kind of discourage that because they don't have a lot of time to be checking their emails during the day. So make sure you send it to me, and you could copy the teacher as well. Okay.
I also want to point out this mailbox that you see the picture of on the brick column there. That mailbox is right outside of the school. So it's just a handy way if you're returning forms, you can drop them in there 24 hours a day, because there is a lot of paperwork that will be going out at the beginning of the year just to update emergency numbers and other health information. So pop them into that mailbox or mail them back if that's more convenient.
Yep, and it's locked, so it's very confidential. It's a locked mailbox. So, yep, thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Ms.
thank you.
Hudson.
I have to see a couple of students, so I'm going to sign off. Can't wait to
Bye.
meet everybody. Don't tell anyone, but kindergarten's my favorite grade. Bye.
Great. Next, our counselor, Kathy Calpin.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you via Zoom. This is, I guess, our new way of doing meetings. I did want to start off by acknowledging a little bit about what my role is here, which is really to service the families, the students, to collaborate with the staff. I kind of have the joy of being from top to bottom, along with Ms. Shea, in terms of being responsible for all of the students. But along with Ms. Hudson, I was going to say we do try to make sure that we are supporting our new students, our kindergarten students, as best we can. And if you have any questions, any concerns about their transitions, I know Ms. Morgan's going to talk a little bit later about some of the things that you can do to best support them coming into this environment, but don't hesitate to reach out, just as Ms. Hudson said. Any confidential information that you want to share that you think would be relevant in terms of anything important going on for your families, it's really helpful to know. We know that you're just like our students haven't had a typical school year experience. We know that the students coming to us next year in kindergarten have not had some of their typical experiences, whether they were in preschool programs or at home. Life has been very different for them in terms of socializing and everything. So we know we're prepared to kind of adapt to that and realize that we're going to spend some time at the beginning of the year helping them get to know some routines and things that they might not have been familiar with. But we're very hopeful that our fall welcoming our kindergartners will be an improvement over what we were able to do this past fall. But a couple of things that Ms. Shea wanted me to point out is in addition to being the counselor for the entire school, I am also the 504 coordinator, which some students are on 504 plans for particular disabilities that remind us that they require some accommodations in the classroom or in the outside at recess or whatever. So I'm the person to contact if your child would already be on one of those, or if you feel like that is an appropriate tool for your child. I'm also one of the liaisons that works within the special education department. And certainly if you have any concerns for your child's social or emotional well-being and are questioning whether or not an IEP is a tool that might be helpful, you can reach out to your child's teacher, of course. And if it's a broader concern, feel free to touch base with me, and I'm always happy to point you in the right direction in terms of what might be the best course of action. So your child starting in the fall, your child actually starts a few days later. I kind of scrolled and saw that we have some parents here that already have some siblings in the building. And so your students will start, your older students will start on August 31st, but for the kindergartners, they come in one by one on those days, and we do what we call a kindergarten screening. And the picture on this slide is awesome. It's a picture from us doing it last year outside, and it was great. We weren't going to be able to have an in-person screening, and we managed to do this, and it makes all the difference in the world. I think the value of the screening is not only the information that we have that helps us determine kind of some basic needs of the child, but also just establishing that rapport from the beginning. So they get to work one-on-one with a teacher to answer some questions. It is nothing that they need to study for this summer. It is simply gives us some, as I said, baseline information about what they know and what we still need to teach them. And it gives us a sense of, how they're going to interact with the adults or whatever. It's also an opportunity on that day. There are other specialists available. So for example, if you know that your child has been identified with speech concerns, even if they haven't been serviced through the school system yet, please let us know in advance, because we can have our speech and language pathologist be available at that day. I'm available that day to meet with parents to touch base. So it's a good opportunity if there are any updates over the summer or anything, as I said, that you want us to know confidentially about things that might be happening, I will be there that day as well. And then we spread it out over the 3 days so that the kids aren't rushed. And at the end of the third day, you will find out what classroom your child is placed in. I believe we do that by email, and we'll probably continue that method. And then that following Tuesday after Labor Day, they will come in to start kindergarten. I will give you a heads up, looking ahead at next year's calendar. It's a little bit of a funky start to our calendar. We have that short week, I believe, and then we have a couple of days off right away for the Jewish holidays. So that can sometimes, like, establishing momentum in a routine is so helpful for kindergartners. So we know that it might take us a little bit longer through September to make sure we get that going. But so that's, I guess, it. As you can see, my email is on the slide, and I always try to get back to families within a day. So please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns, or in advance. I will say this: if you feel like your child might be experiencing some unusual difficulties or transitions, please let me know. Sometimes we've been able to, especially on those first days of school, we might invite, a group of kindergartners or their families to come in and tour the building, when it's quiet, when the kids aren't in the building or something. So feel free to reach out if you have any concerns about your child's transition. Thank you. You're on mute, Mrs. Shea.
That's the phrase we always hear this year, right? You're on mute. Thank you, Ms. Kelpin. Next, Ms. Morgan will talk a little bit about how to prepare your child, some tips you can do at home.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Morgan, and I've been teaching for almost 18 years kindergarten, and I really love it. And one of the things that parents ask us is, how do we prepare our children for kindergarten? And it's a great question. And I'm going to say, first off, don't worry about the academics. You can leave that to us. But the big things that you can do is to help them with, as our screen says, self-help skills are super important, especially if you have 20 plus students in a classroom. It's very, very helpful if kids can, if they have bathroom skills. And I have to say, one of the things that's been wonderful about the pandemic is that kids are really learning to flush the toilet and washing their hands properly, where we didn't see that prior. It was a big learning curve, where so many parents did such a great job with teaching their children to do that. And when they do wash their hands, they have to wash, really scrub them for like 20 seconds, not just a rinse with soap. The other thing is super important is the learning to dress themselves and undress themselves. Beginning of the year and the end of the year, it's not so bad because they're not having, their snowsuits and their mittens and their gloves and hats and everything. But teaching your child to zip, or if they have snaps, or if they're going to wear shoes that they have to tie. Believe it or not, it's hard to tie, 16, 15 pairs of shoes a day. It's a big interruption, especially if you're the only one in the classroom. So if they haven't learned to tie shoes, that's fine. Velcro is wonderful, until they learn that. That's a great thing. The other thing is snacks. Now, again, if you can imagine, if you have 20 plus students in your classroom and they don't know how to open up their little, yogurts or their whatever they have for snack, help them practice opening up their snacks independently. Very, very helpful for us if they can do that. And of course, the water bottles, make sure they can actually open them and that they close properly, because it's a daily thing to have water all over the floor, which is fine, but we're trying to learn to get them to do all of those things. Then to move on, reading at home. I know everybody knows that reading is important, but I'm not sure if people realize how important it is. And it's great to have that bedtime ritual of reading to your child, but read to them during the day. It really builds, it's a gateway to building vocabulary. Children learn sentence structure. They develop, listening skills, and it's a great time for to have a conversation with your child. talk about the books, discuss the characters, discuss, predict, like what's going to happen or create new endings. All of that really gets your child interested in literacy and thinking about books the way that we try to teach them to think about them. Then if we go on to writing exploration at home, it's great to provide your child with, markers, pencils, crayons, and to have them be comfortable with exploring using them. One thing though that I think that Mrs. Wheeler and myself, we really feel is important is a lot of students, if they are writing, they develop an incorrect pinch. And I just kind of want to go over what that means. It's really important that they put their finger on the bottom of the pencil or whatever they're writing with, and then their pointer finger, and then they use the rest of the rest of the fingers as a table. If children are writing a lot, and some kids do come in writing a lot, and they have like this kind of grip or all kinds of grips, it's very hard to break that habit. So if you see your child holding your pencil or whatever they're writing with incorrectly, try to correct them gently, correct them, just remind them. It's very important. The other thing is, when they're writing, just scribbling is their first attempts at writing, and praise those attempts. Let them know that you're so excited that they're writing. Encourage that. The other thing is children tend to write letters from bottom up. We want them to write them top down, and developmentally students do want to write from bottom up. But the reason why we encourage top down, first of all of our letters are formed top down, is because ultimately they will write faster and it'll be much easier for them to write. So that's the reason why we want them from top down. So that's if they are going to learn letters, try to encourage that also. The other thing that was, yes, less screen time, more playtime. I think we all know that. But just how important it is for a child to play and not be on the screen all the time, playing even alone or with other small groups of children. It really facilitates their learning and allows them to practice social skills. And think about this whole pandemic, so many children didn't get to play with other children. And, we can see that. And so learning how to get along, conflict resolution, all of that is part of play. That's very important. And then just think about the time that they're on the devices. That's the time when we could really be talking to them and actively listening to them, having conversations. I think so many children, like nowadays, because parents are so busy, we're all so busy, that it's just so easy just to give them a device. And because it's a great babysitter, we all know that. But having conversations, I think, is the really, really key to helping your child think and also feel, to feel they're important, which is important, as we all know. The other thing I wanted to talk about was firsthand experiences. What I mean by that is that children, they really grasp concepts and vocabulary better if they see the real thing or experience the real thing. And what I mean by that is if you're lucky enough to take a trip either to like the beach or to the mountains or anywhere, talk to your child about the vocabulary that they're going to learn there. You can even take out books about where you're going. And that's just a great way to build vocabulary also. And if you're not lucky enough to go to, have a vacation or mini vacation, just, like the museums around here are fabulous. The PEM or the Salem Museum, they have great summer programs. A lot of them are free. And I know Swampscott Library has summer programs. Anything that like museums, aquariums, library, art performances, those are all really great things for kids to build that vocabulary. And that's what we're looking for. Those are just really good ways to prepare your children. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Wheeler is going to share about a typical day in kindergarten.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joanne Wheeler, and I'm the other kindergarten teacher. And I've been at Clarke for many, many years. And I have to say, kindergarten, Miss Hudson was right. It is the best. It's the best class. It's the happiest place to be. And I'm just happy that I get to be part of being here with your children. I'm so looking forward to meeting them. Let me tell you about a typical day in kindergarten. It's like none other. We start our day where we meet one another. Currently, we're meeting the children outside. Pre-pandemic, we would have the kids line up in the school on their famous blue line, and some of you who have older children probably remember that. We either, no matter where we meet, we arrive together as a whole class, and the kids come in and they get themselves settled, they get their homeschool folders undone, they're out of their backpacks, they hang up their coats. We have our morning routine, and it does take a little while to get it, but they get it really quickly, and then we get on with our day. Every day at Clarke School, we start with a morning meeting. And what that consists of is we start with our lunch count. We wait for our morning announcements that we do as a whole school together with the pledge. And then we talk, we say the code of conduct. We from there move on to doing our classroom jobs. And there is where so much of our learning takes place, both in literacy and in math. We start with our calendar. We count how many days we've been in school. We are doing the weather. We're singing our songs. It's the happiest place. I've said you can hear the morning music kind of in the hallways between both classrooms. And it's just, as I said, there's a lot of learning that's going on during our morning meeting. We will hopefully be back on the rug this year with the pandemic. We've been sitting at our desks, so it's been a little bit different. So we don't know what the fall is going to look like, but either way, no matter if we're in our seats in a row or we're sitting on our rug, it doesn't matter because we're still going to join together. And that's the time that we start to become a kindergarten family. And it's wonderful that we hear how children have spent their weekends or what they've done. And it's just a safe place to be able to share. So we really love that special time in the morning. From there, we move on to math. And we have lots of different topics that we cover. And I'm going to have Miss Flynn talk about that. But the most important thing is to be getting your children to be looking at numbers, counting numbers right now. And Erin, I don't know if you want to pop in right now to talk about some of the topics that we're going to be talking about this year in math.
Sure. So my name is, I'm in the same room with another participant. My name is Erin Flynn. I'm one of the math coaches here for the district, and I'm based at Clarke. So some ways to prepare your students for kindergarten is start to count, like Ms. Wheeler said. So counting up to 10, we always do it fun with workout movements, jumping jacks. Getting them counting from 0 to 10 is the first step. And if you want a challenge, you can have them keep going to 20. In the beginning of the year, we do focus on numbers within 10. So having them practice, be able to recognize a number. So flashcards with just the digits 0 to 10, having them practice those skills. Also handing them just a pile of objects and asking them how many do they have, practicing that one-to-one counting correspondence. So when they have a snack, how many Cheerios do you have? How many Cheez-Its? Just getting them in that routine is very helpful. And then, like we said before, in the beginning of the year screening, students will come meet with myself and other members of the math team, and we'll be able to assess them on the skills that they're coming to kindergarten with, so we know how to support them throughout the year.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you. So after we have our math and and again, we're doing all of those wonderful things, and we get into other things throughout the year, such as teen numbers and measurement and geometry. And you're just going to hear some wonderful vocabulary and language coming from your little ones as they start to learn about all of these things in math class. After math, we have snack. And just as Ms. Hudson said, if you just please pack one healthy snack that's peanut free. Our snack time is about 15 minutes. And the beauty of the kindergarten classes that we have not yet mentioned is that we have bathrooms in the kindergarten classroom. So that's such a big treat that we don't have to really take time out of our day, if you will, to go down to the bathroom as a whole class. The kids have it here for whenever they need it. So it's right here, and we have the sinks so they can wash right up. So that's just a very nice thing that the kindergarten classrooms have. After that, then we get ready for our ELA block, and that is our English Language Arts block. And this is where our foundational skills in phonics and phonological awareness really come to light, where we learn our letters and our sounds. And Mrs. Ward is here as our ELA tutor to talk a little bit more. Mrs. Ward?
Hi, I'm Julie Ward. I'm the literacy tutor here at Clarke. I work alongside Mrs. Anderson, who is the literacy specialist. We're like a little team here. And to prepare your students for kindergarten, I'd say just really letter naming, practice those letters if you can, the letter sounds. And just to piggyback off of what Mrs. Morgan already said and Mrs. Wheeler always says, is just read with them. I remember someone once saying, if you read to a child, they will always listen, and it is the truth. They will. Even if they want to make up the story, look at the pictures, they can make up their own words, just get them acclimated to stories and books and turning the pages. And so we usually come into the kindergarten class from September to January, and then after that, sometimes pull out small groups to see certain students. So that's what you might be seeing us too at kindergarten screening at the beginning of the year. But that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Julie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And one of the other important things as you are with your little ones, rhyming. You really want to get that rhyming going. That's such an important skill that is needed in kindergarten. And as I had said, if we think of our handwriting, you're going to start to see homework that's going to come home. Yes, in kindergarten, we are going to give homework. So as Mrs. Morgan said, again, holding that pencil the right way, you'll have that opportunity to correct your child if you're seeing that they're not holding their pencils the right way. They're going to learn their letters. They're going to learn their sounds. They're going to learn how to read their words. They're going to learn popcorn words, as we call them, which are called sight words. And as we get more into curriculum and that, in the fall, we'll tell you much more about all these wonderful things that are going to happen in our academic world of literacy. But from there, we go from lunch, and we can have the children either bring a home lunch or they can buy lunch at school. Then they have recess. Rest time is one of my favorite times. It's the time we put on our quiet classical music. The kids spend around 15 minutes either quietly coloring with lights out, or they can put their heads down, and it's really our chance in the day for them to recharge and kind of get that extra kick that they need to get through the rest of the day. And so that little break is very helpful. The children then have specials, and PE is gym, and they have that twice a week. Art, music, and library. So those specialists currently are coming into the classroom, but we'll see next year if maybe the children are going to be able to go off to the specialist classrooms to be able to spend the time there. And then from there, we continue our curriculum with science and social studies. And again, when we get a little bit more into the whole curriculum, we'll talk more about each topic in depth, but we cover plants and animals and weather, physical science. We talk in social studies about history, geography, civics, all of those wonderful things. And then choice time is probably the favorite time. If you ask any kindergartner, what's your favorite part of the day? It's choice time. And that's because it's their opportunity to finally come together and play with one another and use so much of their imagination and their skills. And there's such wonderful things that we see happening. Just the other day in my class, I saw kids come up with zero help from me, but they came up with putting on a show, and they were selling tickets. They were making backgrounds. They're making pictures to hang up. It's just adorable. So they really just kind of come together as a wonderful little group, and they have their chance to play. Or they can do blocks or Play-Doh or painting or whatever it is that they are interested in at that point. And then we clean up, we pack it up, and then we get ready for dismissal. And you'll always know your children are safe at dismissal, as we make sure we're very diligent in making sure each child goes to a parent or guardian one at a time. We never dismiss as a whole
class. We're very careful to dismiss outdoor 4 right in a safe part of the courtyard, and we'll deliver them safely to you. So that's what it looks like.
Thank you. And now we have two English language learners teachers, Ms. Salvinelli and Ms. Reed, who present next.
Hi, my name is Gloria Salvinelli, and I'm one of the 2 ELL teachers at Clarke. I've been here for almost over 8 years, and I spent 6 years in another district. One of the things that we have to do to be a good ELL teacher is know and have knowledge of another language. So both Colleen and I do speak another language, and we understand the difficulties and how hard it is to actually learn a second language. When the kindergartners come in to be screened, we will be there and we will be testing and looking at some of the kids to see who is a potential ELL student for us. We have the opportunity to speak with the parents and to also discuss our home language survey, which can be very complicated. So Ms. Shea, could you click on the link there where it says home language survey? Oh, good. It's a good size. Thank you. So if you see where the arrows are here, it's asking you about language as it does above in this box, which is the native language of parents, and also what language you speak with your child. And then down here where the arrows are, it says, what other languages does your child know and which languages does your child use? One of the things we see quite a bit of, because it really isn't explained that well, is that if they go to a preschool that has a little bit of a Spanish program, we see that they have written down or checked off that their child speaks Spanish. What we're looking for is children that actually do speak Spanish or Russian or another language at home with their parents so that they're able to converse with them. These children, we will then test at the beginning of school, the first 3 days of school, to see if they qualify as an ELL student. And if they do, then they will be coming with us every day throughout the school year. Also, thank you, Ms. Shea. If you have any questions about this home language survey, you can always call us because it is very difficult. The test that we give at the kindergarten testing is called the WAP test, and it basically is listening and speaking. We're not doing any reading or any writing. It's too soon for that. However, in the first year of school and the first year of being an ELL student, we do have the access test, which is usually given from sometime in maybe the first or the second week of January to the middle of February. We have that test is comprised of 4 domains, 4 components, which is listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And we don't do it all at once. We have them come in for about an hour each time to do one of the domains so that it's broken up for them and it doesn't take that much time. Contrary to what Mrs. Morgan said, I agree completely. We do ask that if they are out of town or visiting or on vacation, that if they have time at night, that the kids try and watch PBS. Public broadcasting system is a television station that is just absolutely wonderful for kids, especially new language learners. And it's a different number on your cable box depending. I don't live in Swampscott, so I'm not sure what the cable number is here, but it's an excellent resource for kids if they're trying to learn the language, because they do a great job with it and they've been teaching kids for years. One of the things I would like to double down on that Mrs. Morgan had said was that reading, even if you don't feel comfortable reading to your child in English, read to them in your mother tongue or your native language. They need to appreciate reading and appreciate the stories and enjoy them. So Being a bilingual student and a bilingual adult is one of the best things that can happen to any child. It really is. It opens up so many words for you. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing everyone at kindergarten screening in end of August and beginning of September. Thank you.
And I'm Colleen Reed, and I'm the other ELL teacher here at Clarke. We're really excited to work with your kids next year if they are English language learners. We usually see students every day, and we coordinate with class teachers. We're constantly checking in to see how the students are doing in their regular ed classroom and what are some things the students are doing well independently, what are some things that they need extra help with. And we take some of that feedback from the teachers and we incorporate it into our lessons. In our different lessons, we practice reading, writing. It's our groups that we pull, it's really like an additional reading or literacy group. And we really support them with that. We'll reinforce some of the phonics concepts that they're working on in class and their sight words. Because our students also need to learn vocabulary, we incorporate a lot of that too. You can see in the photo at the top there, that's some of our kindergarten students previously working with some of our vocabulary manipulatives. I have a couple examples of some of our books. So we have some really great, exciting books that incorporate those sight words and the vocabulary. We read those with our students. We send materials home sometimes that they can practice with, little sight word books like this. The students really love coming to their ELL services. And I think it's really important with any of us who provide the intervention services to reinforce to you that students are constantly going in and out of their rooms, working in small groups for math, for reading, working for occupational therapy, working with Mrs. Calpin. And so it really feels normal when the students are pulled with one of our groups. And it's just one of those other things that they go do during their day. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have in the future about the program and what we do. And we're just so excited to start working with them soon.
Great. Thank you, Colleen. Next, I'd like to invite our PTO, which is a very important component here at Clarke, to share a little bit about their organization. And I think I saw Jen Picarello and Erin Lamb, perhaps.
We're both here. I'm on mute. Hi, I made it in front of the school because I left my house and and drove here because I was so worried about not getting my kids in time. Anyway, and I missed kindergarten, by the way. Hi, I'm Erin Lamb. I'm one of the vice presidents of the PTO. I have 2 third graders at Clarke. I wrote myself some notes, so I'll just quickly go over them. So the parent-teacher organization provides programming and scholastic support throughout the school year through things like book fairs, the holiday fair, bus service for field trips, community events, authors, dancers, whatever for the kids. That's what a normal year looks like. So last year, we didn't really get to do what we traditionally do, which would be a major spring fundraiser and a bunch of smaller ones throughout the year. We used to do the Clarke County Fair every year. I think we were going to do a different fundraiser and then COVID hit. So last year looked a lot different than it normally would, but we were still very successful. I don't know if any of the parents saw it, but there was a town-wide push with all the different schools. We had masks and gaiters with logos. Clarke actually spearheaded that and got all the production work for that done, and that was a fundraiser. We had a wildly successful fundraiser where we auctioned off cases of wine. We made $5,000 for the PTO just through that fundraiser alone. We did some boo bags in around Halloween, so we made money off that. And then we were able to donate lanyards to the kids at the beginning of school year. We donated chairs to all the teachers and staff recently for Teacher Appreciation Week so that they'd have something to sit outside with the kids with. We're going to be doing like a popsicles in the park at the end of the school year. And all these things are funded through the PTO, and there's two different ways that we fund things. One, obviously through fundraisers. Two would be through dues. You'll be getting an information pack, correct, Jen?
Yes.
Okay, so there will, we will ask for dues a few different ways. You'll see it in emails, you'll see it in updates. We have two Facebook pages, if you guys want to take this down. One is Clarke School Parents, and the second is Clarke School PTO. So if you get on those two Facebook pages, we do try to put all the events we have going on, things happening, things we need information for. The second thing that we'll ask you for information for is the family directory. And that's something we've been working hard to put together to help parents be able to get other family information. Again, you're allowed to opt out if you're not comfortable. But if you want to have us publish your information, that would be great. It's just for the school. As far as what this coming year is going to look like, we're not 100% sure yet. I will say, though, that the wine raffle actually taught us something valuable, which is you can work smart and not hard to make money. And we were able to do that entire raffle online, no paper tickets. And we were able to basically do it from our desktop and made probably 10 times more money than we made at any other event that we did throughout the year. So what I'll say is we're looking for parents to join us. We're looking for creative ideas. We're looking for, if you want to volunteer to do anything. All the parents on the board, we're working parents, we own our own businesses, we're juggling kids. We get that everyone has limited time, but anything you can do, if someone wants to just be in charge of box tops for education, if someone just wants to volunteer for one event, or maybe if you have a skill that you could lend, just reach out to us. The next meeting, I think, is, Jen, is it next Tuesday?
I don't think so. I think we're going to wait until September. If they have any questions or anything, they can reach out to us.
Okay.
Ms. Shea
we might do a board meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. So our email is the Clarke School PTO at the swampscott.k12.ma.us. So like the rest of Miss Hudson's email was at the Swampscott address. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to shoot them to the Clarke School PTO via email, or contact us on any of the Facebook pages that Erin mentioned, the Clarke School PTO or the Clarke Parents. It's really a great way to stay in touch with all of us. If you don't know us, obviously, parents.
Yeah, one of the great things that happened during COVID were parents actually went on the page and said, hey, this is my kid's teacher next year. Any other parents have the same teacher? And we were all able to connect over Facebook, and we were able to support each other, especially at the beginning of the year when we didn't really know what was going on. And the last thing I wanted to mention was, so out of the 8 board members we have right now, 4 of us are going to have 4th graders this coming year, which I can't believe. So we have a lot of openings and a lot of room for growth and improvement, and we're looking for fresh blood. We're looking for new ideas. Again, it'd be great if anyone had any fundraising ideas, or anything that they could bring from their experience at a different school. That would be great. Anything else, Jen?
The PTO does what is called first day school supply boxes. And what you can do is, on our Facebook page, there is, yes, Ms. Shea has that. It's awesome. You can purchase all the supplies that your student will need for kindergarten. It'll be shipped in that awesome box. It's right there. It looks exactly like that. And you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to do anything. It's everything your teacher wants your student to have. And those boxes will be in the classroom on their first day of school. So it's an easier way to do that. And like Ms. Shea pointed out, it's on our Facebook page and the Clarke website. And if you have any questions, just reach out to Ms. Shea and she could forward you to us, or look up the Clarke PTO email. I believe so. That's actually a really good question. I just started taking over this. We had a mom who's in 4th grade who is kind of, I'm shadowing her this year, so I can get that information and get back to you. I would say yes. And we could do that if that's something that someone wanted. The question was in the chat, can we buy a box to donate to families that might have a hardship? I would say yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think that actually when I looked at the website today, and on the website, I think there's even a spot that you can donate a box, which
I
is
believe
awesome.
that's correct.
Yeah, thank you for asking. If anybody has a hardship buying back to school supplies, please, you can confidentially let myself, the nurse, the counselor, the teacher know, and we'll make sure your student has the supplies. And you don't have to buy it through this box, but if you go on the website and click, it'll give you the list of recommended things. So
Yes, and
just
that
do the
we-
best you can.
Yep, we cleared the list with all the teachers this year. So Miss Morgan and Miss Wheeler already approved all those lists. So that's what they're looking for. You can go off that and you can shop yourself, or I find it personally easier. I have 2 kids this year. They're in 1st and 3rd grade, and I did both boxes, and it saved me a lot of time and a lot of anxiety going to the store looking for stuff. The only other thing we're gonna have, like Erin said, there will be a packet going home in the fall with all of our PTO information, everything that you know, questions, a little blurb about us, what we're doing, kind of like what we're talking about now. Your supply list that you're, in case you can't find it, it's in there. The myths about joining the PTO and kind of what we're looking for. Like, we would love for somebody to take over the box tops, which we do, which is a simple way to get money back to the school, to the PTO for your kids. Jessica asked, will we have extended day after school programs for this week? I don't know that answer.
Yeah, that's on one of the upcoming slides. I'll talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know that answer. We would love to. In the years past, we have run them. There, you know, we did Legos, we did Minecraft. There was a couple of art drawing ones. I don't know what, well, me and Ms. Shea and the board will have to discuss on what we can and can't do going forward in the next school year. I do know there
And
will
last year,
Go ahead,
yeah, I was going to say last year when we weren't able to do it, the Swampscott Recreation stepped up and they did an after school program in our park outside, and the kids loved that. So I would hope that if we couldn't do that this year, that they still would do like an after school. It was basically Park League, but in the fall. So it actually worked out nice. So maybe if we can't do it, we can reach out to Danielle Strauss and see if they can set that up again.
that's really it. Again, it's just kind of volunteering. If you, like Erin said, had a special talent, say you're really good with computer skills, you can help us do our technology part. If you know, you only want to handle one small thing, you know, you're a working mom and you know, you work the night shift and you can do something during the day or vice versa. We have opportunities for everybody to help out in any way, shape, or form. So look for our packet in the fall. Ms. Wheeler and Ms. Morgan will give those out to you guys, and hope to see you guys at our next meeting in September.
Thank you very much. Great.
Thanks.
I think somebody asked about the extended day program. What Jennifer was talking about is an enrichment club that the PTO had ran in the past. But in addition to that, we do have an extended day program that is on site. It's a great opportunity for people who need childcare because the children can go right from the classroom to the cafeteria. And we have a before and after school program. It is run separately. It's not run by the school, but this year it will be a company that is contracted out. So the school committee is in the process of approving different vendors and figuring out who will be running that program. So if you look on the website, we'll have updates posted once we know who the vendor is, and signups will be in June. So I will send out an email to parents letting them know that it's time to sign up, but it is through a separate vendor and it will be on the website. In addition to that, we also have the YMCA program has a bus that they send to the schools to pick up children. So if you sign up for the after school program through the YMCA and are interested in the bus, you would sign up through them. But it's a convenient way for working parents because both of those options, you don't have to worry about how to get your child there. So those are the two main options that we have available at Clarke. And that information is all on the website, along with a lot of other information. Just wanted to go back a slide. On the website, there's also a link to the food service program, which is run through Chartwell. They will have menus there, and if you have allergies, you can actually click on the ingredients on the food items, and the ingredients will come up. So it's great if you have food allergies to be able to plan what you want your child to get. So this information is available on the website. I also want to remind people that other ways to get information about the school is to follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter feed called @ClarkeSharks, and I like to post a lot of fun, cute pictures that we take during the school day. You can see this picture in the middle here is what we took on 100th day. And also on the Twitter feed and through YouTube are some videos that I made. If you're wondering about the COVID precautions we took this year, there's a video on the main website that shows some of the protocols that we put in place this year. And I'm not sure how many of those protocols will be in place for the fall, but what we will do is in August, we'll be sending out emails to parents, letting them know if children will be wearing masks, if we'll be doing 6-foot distancing. So lots of information will come out by email. I know one of the parents asked a question about where we would pick up kids the first few days. That information will all be in the emails that we'll send out. So look for those updates coming out. And this is our hashtag Together We Shine. And this is the end of our formal presentation. I know some parents are hopping off to pick up their children, but we do want to open it up if there's any parents that are able to stay a few minutes and want to ask any questions. They're welcome to either put it in the chat feed or they can raise their hand and we'll ask Miss Reed to help me call our names. Any parents have questions? All right. Oh, I do have one more. Our nurse handed me a little note while we were going through the other presenters. She asked me to remind parents that she needs a 5-year-old physical that has immunizations and a lead test. So if you are going to the doctor, make sure you get a copy of the physical with the immunizations and lead test, and you can drop it off in our mailbox or mail it in or give it to us at kindergarten screening. But that's a really important thing that she will need at the start of kindergarten. And do any of the presenters want to share anything that we forgot or want to highlight anything else? Okay, great. Let me just see if anybody else. Oh, a parent asked a great question. She said that she has triplets and she wants them to be in different rooms. So how could we discuss that? We have 2 rooms, so we would ask for her input on which child we'd want to pair up, but we absolutely can honor if somebody has twins or triplets and they want them in different rooms or placed together. So you can communicate that to us at the kindergarten screening because we'll be doing the placements right after that, or you're also welcome to send us an email in advance. But we absolutely like to take into consideration parents' wishes for that. I don't see any other questions. So what we'll do is we'll wrap up now, and we just encourage you to reach out to us if you have any questions. And we will see you at the kindergarten screening, where you can also have a chance to share information and ask questions. And in the meantime, we hope that you'll visit the website the Twitter feed, the YouTube channel, and also look for our emails. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely night. Lovely afternoon.